Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Alberta's pride. Hey, ho, hey, ha, ha, hey,
Hey, hey, hey. Good to see everyone.
Out in Alberta where the Rockies rise, Tommy Temper streaming with fire in his eyes from a lake
You
house
betcha.
glowing in the moonlight's gleam. He's the YouTube king of the widest streams.
Uh-huh.
Tommy Temper, you're a great guy.
We try to be.
Battling trolls with a spark in your eye.
Bam.
Conspiracy theories, politics and fun. Streaming from the Rockies, you're second to none.
Oh,
Hot tub
yeah.
bubbling in the starlit skies. He's calling out the haters with truth in his lines. Talking about the world from the left to the right. Tommy's got the mic, keeping it tight.
You betcha.
Tommy Temper, you're a great guy.
Thank you very much.
Battling trolls with a spark in your eye. Conspiracy theories, politics and fun. Streaming from the Rockies, you're second to none. Lake house vibes where the mountains meet the stream. He's dodging all the trolls like a champion dream.
You got that right.
He's lighting up the night. Tommy Temper's truth is his guiding light. With a wink and a grin, he's taking on the fight. Spilling all the tea in the YouTube life. From the hot tub to the Rockies, he's living it free. Tommy Temper's the streamer we all want to see. Oh,
Tommy Temper.
You're a great guy.
We try to be.
Battling trolls with a spark in your eye. Conspiracy theories.
One step ahead of
politics and
everyone.
fun. Streaming from the Rockies, you're second to none. So raise
Yeah.
a glass to Tommy, the legend of the land. From Alberta's lake house, he's taking a stand. The Rockies watching, the hot tub steam.
Get ready for another Tommy Temper show.
Of YouTube dreaming.
Yeah. We're coming to you live from Sylvan Lake, Alberta. Thanks a lot, everyone, for tuning in. Do appreciate your company out there. Hey, good to see everyone. It's a beautiful day out here. It was a little bit cloudy when I first woke up. And wow, I woke up early. It was like about 7 o'clock. Wow, that's early for me. And I was kind of tooling around the internet there, looking at a few YouTube channels and stuff like that, seeing what everyone is up to. Not too much happening today. So I thought I'd do a live here and kind of get you up to date a little bit with what's happening in the world. And of course, there's the usual stuff happening. You know, you've got the war going on between the United States and Iran. You've got the Ukraine-Russia war happening. You've got us here in Alberta, you know, trying to go for Alberta independence. Oh, that little thing fell off of my hat there. So I've got a, looks like a see-through head here or something. I'll just keep my head up like this. And, whatever. Oh, what else? We're wearing a t-shirt here. You can't really see it, but, yeah, we've got the drilling rig on my t-shirt here today. Got on a nice white t-shirt because when you're out here at the lake, you don't want to wear a black t-shirt or black clothing or stuff like that when it's just cooking and the sun is beating. And, we like to kind of take the golf cart over to, the main avenue there and the beach area and kind of lay around a little bit. Well, not really lay around, but sit on a bench there and watch what's happening there in the downtown beach area there. So we're probably going to do that in a little while. But, I just thought I'd go live here and say hi to all of our friends there. Howard, hey, good to see you. Let me just go over to my channel. And, if we have a mod that can turn on subs only to chat for 1 minute and give us a 5-second delay, that would be great. Appreciate that. Who's in there? Oh, actually, it's already turned on there. I see now that I'm over there. Thank you very much for whichever mod did that for me. Appreciate that. Jen DeLon in there. Hey, Jen, rather. Good to see you. We got Bob Cox in there. Let's see who else is popping in there. Howard is in there. Hey, good to see you there, Howard. And people would just be popping in here as we do our live thing. But first of all, I'd like to say thank you very much for subscribing. Give us a thumbs up if you can. We're at 2 thumbs up, so I'll give us number 3. Everyone in the chat, just give us a thumbs up. If you're watching this after, one of the hundreds of people that watch the channel here, give us a thumbs up if you can. Yeah, I did a couple of shorts there yesterday. Yesterday out there on the beach, I'm late, Tommy. Yeah, exactly. Oh, you're waiting for me to, well, I was up early. But I had to kind of deal with a little bit of business there first, conduct a few phone calls. I talked to a nice lady from Westlock, Alberta, and, talked to my wife for a little bit and whatever. Took a shower, freshened up a little bit there for the show. And yeah, of course, that means I'm a little bit late here, but better late than never, as they always say. Yeah. And I made a few changes there based on yesterday's, epic broadcast there. By the way, I privatized yesterday's feed because, as you know, I usually have my chat over here on this side of the screen. And due to the fact that there's some doxers out like someone by the name of Cadamus Rex on YouTube there that prefers to, hate on the internet is all I can say. So, I ended up getting doxxed a little bit there on my own chat. So for that reason, I'm not going to display my chat on my screen so that people later on can see what the hell is going on there. So unfortunately that happened. And I did have to block a few people from my channel. And I may end up blocking a few more as things go on here. So if you're a mod in my chat, just if anyone tries to, say disparaging things about me or tries to dox me or dox anything about me, just block them. Just block them in my chat because, I have a big enough channel here with enough people watching that, just because a few people get blocked, so sad to be you, that kind of a thing. All you're doing, and Cadamus Rex, all you did is you made it bad for everybody else that hangs out in your chat, because anybody in your chat is potentially going to get blocked here, right? So understand that you think that you're having fun or, haha, or trying to, do something to try and damage me or whatever. You think that you're like, haha, a fun lady over there living in PEI on the rock there. But in fact, you actually made it so that the people that hang out with you, the rest of your troll family there, are ending up getting blocked in my chat. Okay. So what you did is you affected a lot of other people's ability to chat in my chat. Did you realize that you did that? Oh, is that ever stupid of you to do that? Sorry to hear that happened to you, but these things happen. You can't do something about stupidity. In fact, there's no such thing as a mistake, Cadamus Rex. There's only room for improvement, right? You need to do a little bit better. Yeah. So crime is still in here, but Cadamus Rex is not in here. Can you believe that? That's funny. Daisy's in here, but Rex, you're not in here, and what happened? The rest of your troll family over there are just going berserk. It's like, more doxing of me and, more, doing clips and stuff like that. Yeah, do some clips and post them over somewhere like Rumble or something like that where nobody even looks at that crap, so it's like you guys are in your own little circle doing a little circle jerk there. And meanwhile, the rest of us are over here having fun, right, Brett?
Fuck all the fucking way off.
I know. That's what you can do, Rex. So that's funny. That's really funny. Yeah. Daisy says, I don't go to the letterbox. You know exactly what I'm talking about there. Yeah, we probably unsubscribed from that particular person. In fact, if I unsubscribe from you, that's bad. That's bad. That means that I won't be watching what you're saying or doing or anything, and you'll kind of lose a bit of your traction that you're having on the internet here. You'll have one less person to call a chud, like you people over there, like you are the inclusive left, it's like those lefties, they're, and I'm not calling you a name, calling you a lefty, because, we know that you voted for Trudeau and you voted for Biden and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But yeah, at the end of the day, all you can do is call people names or talk about people's skin color or something like that, which I never mention people's skin color. I could care what color that you are, If you're doing something that I don't like, I'll call you out for what you're doing. Or if the government is doing something wrong with, skin color has nothing to do with immigration. If you're, if the government is bringing in too many people, that's called mass immigration. And I'm not calling you out for what you look like or where you came from or anything like that. I don't talk about that. You guys are the ones that all the time bring up what color somebody is. I don't care. Hey, I'll love you whether you're black, purple, green, orange, whatever. It doesn't matter what you are, where you are. But for some reason, you people don't like white people. Like, I don't know why that is, And you're the racists out there for like singling out white people and going, oh, you're a bunch of white Christian nationalist, KKK, far extreme right, blah, 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 the rest of it, every name in the book, racist, misogynist, homophobic. Let's see what else is there. I should have wrote them down here. I got them all written down in my other studio, but you know what I'm talking about there. Yeah, I guess Rebel News. What propaganda? Oh, you got stuff like that going on there. Yeah, Brett against the Rebel crew and stuff like that. That'll never end, Brett. You guys, it'll be like the year, in the year 3030, Brett is still fighting the propaganda from Rebel News. In the year 3030, you'll still be flying the Palestine flag, and stuff like that. Hey, you guys should get together, promote some kind of a peace agreement between Israel and Palestine and stuff like that, and like show a little bit of love, like talk about how you guys can love each other, and all live together in peace and harmony, just like Brett Queenie and Tommy Temper and RV and Railroad and SW and all of us people here in Alberta are living together in harmony. Well, most of us are, not all of us, but we're trying very hard. We try hard to be friends with everybody out there, but it's really hard to be friends with people out there, it's really hard. You know what I'm talking about there, Brett? You know what I'm talking about.
That tells me all I need to know.
I know, exactly. You're a little loud on this show there, Brett. Yeah, you don't even have to phone in anymore because I've got all those sound bites right here. I need some other sound bites like where you're bashing Rebel or something like that on here too.
No, fuck off.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, okay. But you can say whatever you want in the chat there, as long as it's not, about doing somebody in, because, we've got those new hate laws here in Canada. And I went over those hate laws here before. And, I should actually post down below there the RCMP's phone number in Sylvan Lake so that those of you that are being hated on by somebody in Sylvan Lake can get that direct line to the Sylvan Lake RCMP, and report that person for hate speech, because the new hate laws are now out there, and you need to, pretty much follow them now and watch everything you say, watch everything you do, and not get thrown under the bus, by somebody. You don't want to be reported by anybody because they might monitor your activities, and then if they find out that you're a hate hog or something like that, you might get reported. And then you'll get that knock on your door. You know the one I'm talking about?
FBI, open up!
No, I need the one that says RCMP, open up. There's got to be one out there. Real Red Mama, hey, good to see you. Yeah, I've been watching you guys over there. You know, a lot of times I don't comment. I don't comment in a lot of people's chats, but because I bring you guys up on my big screen TV here in the living room, right? And I watched you guys, and I saw that you were doing a recap of Hate Hog there. So that was pretty funny there. Yeah, you guys were going at her there. And yeah, of course, you know, it's going to be an ongoing battle between all of you there. But yeah, you got to keep that stuff up there. And, you know, hey, you know, report. What else can you do? You know, and eventually someone will get the message that you shouldn't be hating on people all day long or whenever you fire up a stream, you know. But pointing out other people that are hating, nothing wrong with that. You know, I say, hey, good for you. You know, like you're probably doing a good job. Hey, out in Sylvan Lake here yesterday, I ran into a good friend of mine. I'll say an online friend, maybe an Alberta Independence friend, whatever you want to call him. Actually, two guys last night or yesterday I ran into. And one of them was a guy by the name of Wade. And yeah, let me just see if I've got that clip of Wade here. Here's a little bit of, let me just bring it up here. Hang on a second. Bring it to the beginning and turn that on here. And yeah, there was this whole thing going on here between what happened is Elections Alberta. We'll get into the Alberta stuff here first, and then we'll move on to world news. But Elections Alberta did a count of the number of signatures that were collected, and they threw out about 80,000 signatures. You know, because what they did is they made a few phone calls to people, like to me. If they would have phoned me, if Elections Alberta would have phoned me, and they would have said, Tommy Temper, you know, or, you know, my real name, of course, you know, and they would have said, yeah, did you sign that petition? And I would have said, yeah, I signed the petition. You live at such and such a location? Yeah, I live there. Is this your phone number? Well, yeah, you phoned me on it, didn't you? Duh. And then they would have said, what date did you sign that? And I would have said, geez, I don't recall what that date was. It was like I remember there was still snow on the ground, and I signed it over on the lake there because the lake was frozen. And so, you know, it was in the winter time, but I don't remember the exact date. And Elections Alberta would have gone, oh, okay, your signature doesn't count. Throw it away, you know. Like that's how they operated. That's how they verified who signed it. So they apparently threw away like thousands and thousands. Like, I don't know if the number is 80,000 or what the exact number is, but, you know, out of somehow 300,000 signatures were collected, and they ended up with, you know, something like just over 200,000 that were actually verified. Well, we only needed like about 180,000 for there to be an actual vote, or for the question to be on the vote, which the vote is scheduled to be on the 19th. Now, is Danielle Smith going to change that to be a vote for a vote or a vote for independence? You know, like, do you want Alberta to be independence or not? Or do you want to vote for there to be a vote for Alberta independence? Because that's the way it's set up right now. So that's apparently what's going to happen. Partabonza, good to see you. Christy, hey, nice to see you in the chat there. Thank you very much for tuning in. And yeah, but anyways, I ran into this guy whose name is Wade. And Wade has got a house on Lakeshore Drive there, where he's got big signs up in front of his house, and he's got flags like you can see behind him there flying up in front of his house. And Wade is actually quite a character. You can see there. He's like, I don't know if he's like a Stone Age hippie from the 60s or what, but, you know, he owns a really nice property there in Sylvan Lake, you know, like right there on Lakeshore Drive. And he's got a nice house on it there. And he's a real proponent of Alberta independence, and let's hear what he has to say about the signatures that were collected by and verified by Elections Alberta.
Wade from Sylvan Lake here, drinking Pilsner. It's a nice day, cutting the grass. I just watched John Bolton's Independence calendar. It was a really good one because he's got his interview there with Bruce Party on at the end. A lot of interesting things to say, but he didn't have a lot of time. But the next time he interviews Bruce Party, I think it's going to be much better. And anyways, watch it. Peace out.
Oh, okay. So he doesn't say at that moment anything about the elections thing, but
I was just wondering
on the
about
next
all
thing,
those numbers that
the next time
got
that I
screwed
did a
up
live
there.
with him here, he actually does say something. So let me bring this one on here. Yeah, I played the wrong cut there. Here we go.
Sylvan Lake, I was just wondering about all those numbers that got screwed up there with Elections Alberta. I don't know how they determine which signatures were good or bad. I've heard rumors of this and that. I don't know. But to have, like John was saying, to have 80,000 people screwing up, I don't think is I think John is correct. Also, it's not impossible that a bunch of people infiltrated the canvassers thing and just took a bunch of, BS signatures and stuff just to try and stop the movement. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Probably Thomas Lukaszik's people. I mean, it's way.
Yeah. So, who knows what happened? Yeah. People, there could have been a canvasser, for example, that infiltrated the movement. There could have been people that were like for Alberta, having Alberta stay in Canada. They could have signed. Also, there were a number of people that signed twice, like at two different locations. So who might have done that? I don't know. So because there were dupes of people that signed, but there was the whole business that there was an electoral list that was apparently, taken from one of the groups, a political party, and people thought that was used and signatures were taken off of that and were added to the signatures. But as it turned out, and there were seeded names on there, right? Like fake names, whatever, so that if any of those names would have appeared on the actual canvassers list, then you would have known that list was taken and used. But as it turned out, none of those seeded names were actually appeared on the ones that were verified there by Elections Alberta. So that whole thing you can throw away and not worry about that. But anyways, that was our good friend Wade from Sylvan Lake, who was out and about there yesterday, and I happened to run into him there as I was driving my golf cart around. And oops, these things fly in here with audio when I bring them in here. But then I ran into a guy by the name of John, Jon. He does a YouTube channel called Talking to Albertans, and he's got his big blue flag with him there, and he was walking around Sylvan Lake there yesterday, and I ran into him, and he's talking about Sylvan Lake being unrecognizable. He doesn't recognize it. It looks a lot different these days, and I would say it's because of mass immigration, and this is the problem, is that when you bring a lot of people into a country from other countries, and I don't mean, like people in the United States, you don't understand because you don't live here, right? You guys have, a little bit of immigration over there, but in Canada, we've been faced with absolute mass immigration here, and I know you guys go, oh yeah, Tommy just doesn't like brown and black people. No, I'm not saying what color anybody is. All I'm saying is that we have had a ton, way too much immigration, over immigration, mass immigration, to where it is changing the fabric of the country. It's like I took a trip to another country. That's what it's like living here. It's like I have traveled to other countries. And I know what it's like being like the odd man out in another country, to where everyone else is speaking a foreign language and I'm the only guy speaking English. Well, that's what it's like living in Canada here now, believe it or not. And now here's a guy like right out of the blue that comes over to my place, Sylvan Lake, and he's saying, and he knows Sylvan Lake over a number of years because he's been here many times. He doesn't live here, but he just happened to pop over to Sylvan Lake, and he's saying Sylvan Lake is absolutely unrecognizable. Let's listen to what he has to say. This is John from Alberta Talks.
I'm John, and I am here in Sylvan Lake, and I just ran into Tommy, and I was walking around here making some videos, and he caught me right at that perfect moment. And I came here to see what it's like. There's a video going viral about Sylvan Lake and how much it's changed. And guys, the rumors are true. I don't recognize this place anymore. I don't even know what this place is. I was trying to talk to people, and I got a video coming up, so you'll get to see all that interview coming up. So please check out my channel, Talking to Albertans. I'm John, and I am here in Sylvan Lake. And
yeah, he's giving a plug to his channel there, and yeah, he doesn't recognize Sylvan Lake. Hey, I'm here, and yeah, I've been here in years gone by, and here today, and absolutely, it has changed. There's no doubt about that.
John here again.
Is it for the good?
I just want to get my thoughts.
Is it for the good, or is it for the bad? Yeah, I would say it's not great. Things have changed probably for the bad. Things could be a little bit better. Okay, here's, and again on the elections, Alberta counting the votes and their counting methods. Let's hear what John has to say about that issue here.
Here again, I'm Sylvan Lake, and I just want to get my thoughts about what's happened with the poll being counted. And I am actually sorely disappointed in Elections Alberta. I'm worried that the way they're treating this and the way that they politicized the thing to begin with and the way they counted them, I'm suspicious about the methodology. I've heard a lot of rumors about Forever Canada getting special treatment. And look, the thing is, if Forever Canada or if Elections Alberta, gives different treatment to different groups, then how can we trust our democracy? So this is a grave issue, and I encourage people to look into it because it's looking really scary for Canada right now. John here again.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's kind of worried about the way they counted things too. I personally am very, very disappointed in Elections Alberta. I'm kind of thinking that they're not being, centrist, which they shouldn't be on one side or the other. They should be impartial, and they are absolutely not being impartial. By the way, they, the number of people that signed the petition, the number that, literally thousands of names were thrown out. And you can imagine that they're, like a bunch of blue-haired people or something working in there, like people that are not for, us, over there working. And you've got the business of the Forever Canada people running their campaign. And Elections Alberta goes, no, that's not a campaign. No, they're running a campaign. They've got signs. They've got signs all over Sylvan Lake here. I see them in Edmonton. They've got campaign offices set up. They've got a campaign bus. They've talked about doing campaigns. They've talked to BBC over in the UK about the fact that they're doing a campaign. They're doing a campaign, but yet Elections Alberta go, no, they're not doing a campaign, so they don't have to be treated like a campaign. Whereas somebody that is doing a campaign, like people that are independents for Alberta, they're called third-party advertisers. They have to prove where they got money from. You can't take any money outside of Alberta. You can't take any more than $5,000 from any one entity. You have to, once a week, report how much money that you've collected. Meanwhile, the Forever Canada crew, don't have to do any of that stuff whatsoever, but yet they're in there doing that stuff. East Coast Owner, hey, good to see you. Thanks a lot for popping in here. At least you're not over at that Ryan Jesperson chat there. Holy jeez. He's like so negative all the time, you know, like anti-independence and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't even go over to Jesperson's chat there anymore because when I say hi in his chat, I get an immediate timeout over there. So, you know, if they're going to do that, all they want to do is just time people out for saying hi. So, yeah, you know, I'm not going to participate in that guy's chat over there. So we've kind of got a boycott on for Ryan Jesperson for his show over there. So for those of you lefties, go over there to that echo chamber over there of a bunch of NDPers over there. And yeah, you know, do what you want. But I'm going to do my thing over here, and the rest is history. There you go. Oh, he hates you too. Well, of course, because you're a little bit left, or sorry, right of Central there, East Coast, and yeah, you know, I know. I saw that. I was right on your side there the whole time when I would be chatting in there, you know, and we were like a team in there, along with Old Goat, and I wish that there were other people from over there that would pop in here that were, you know, holding up the right-wing side of things there and holding his feet to the fire. But, yeah. Well, Brett, I know. Yeah, but Brett, you know, you might not think you're a left-winger, but you are a left-winger. You know, if you pick the side to be on, and, you know, if you would accept the fact that people are on the left side of the fence, centrists are on the right side of the fence, you would absolutely be on that left side of the fence, you know, like, okay, you know, and I know that you don't like that and you don't like that terminology, whatever. And, you know, but face it, those terms are used for political parties and for political thoughts and, you know, the way that you are and the way that you think. So, yeah, just go with that. What's that? I read the writing above your head. And Tommy, I have a question about where you live. Yeah, I'm in Sylvan Lake here right now. So if you have a question there, ask me a question. I will answer it there, whatever I can for you. Yeah, we're right in central Alberta, right beside the largest city close by here is Red Deer, Alberta. We're about 14 kilometers to the west of Red Deer, Alberta, is where I'm at here. And I live in a house here. It's like a summer house, winter house. You can live here year round. Is it the same area Queenie lives in? Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 She lives here. Yeah. I could take my golf cart and drive by Queenie's house there and see how her yard sale is coming along there. But Queenie wants to move from her house there, apparently. And she wants some friend of hers to buy the place so that she can stay there. Yeah, right. As if that's going to happen. Yeah, I don't know. But if I picked her up in my golf cart, holy shit, I might get a blowout on the passenger side of the golf cart there. The golf cart would be leaning so bad there that it would be, uncomfortable to ride. You hit a bump or something, and we'd be flying out of there. Queenie said she lives in a resort. It's not a resort that she lives in. She lives in the trailer park. There's an area of Sylvan Lake that is a trailer park, and that's where she lives, okay? Where it's got a bunch of trailers there, right? Like her particular house that she lives in is it's a fixed place. I'll give her credit for that, but almost all the other things around her are mobile homes, you know, that are pulled in there and they take the wheels off and whatever. And yeah, you know, it's like her place there. I don't know. I looked at it once and it was like the grass was about 12 inches high and that kind of thing. Is Sylvan Lake a resort? I would say that yes, Sylvan Lake is a resort. You know, if you've ever been to Sylvan Lake, there are, like, for example, yesterday on the beach, there were literally, I would say, 4,000 people on the beach. You know, like, you know, I never counted how many people were there, but the beach goes on for literally a couple of kilometers, and there were people all along the beach, on the sand, in the water, and then up from the beach. It's all grass area, and there's trails that go through there, and people were all on those areas there. There were thousands of people. So like, I don't know what you consider to be a resort, but as far as in Alberta, if I think, well, what else might be a resort, a resort area, a resort location in Alberta, and maybe a town like Banff, or maybe Cochrane or Jasper, Alberta. But as far as a lake type area, this is a resort, and you have lots of houses there are some houses, if you're on the lakefront, right on the lakefront, and you've got lake right in front of you, you're like over $1 million for a property, anywhere from $1 million to say $5 million for something that is right on that lake there. If you're a little ways away from the lake, like over where Queasy is there, then I think her house is like maybe I don't know, 350,000 or something like that. So when you get away from the lake, it's like a town type area, right? So she's not in the resort area. She doesn't live in the resort area. She lives far back from the lake, over in what's known as the town site area. You know what I mean? But would I consider it to be like a resort thing here? Yeah, well, I drive a golf cart around town, and usually in a resort, you drive golf carts around resorts, But, there are some things like in the States where you might call something a resort where they don't have any lake at all. All it is a bunch of, houses in a kind of a gated community or something like that. You have those in Florida and stuff like that. Here, you've got houses all around this lake here, and then you've got a road that goes right along the lake called Lakeshore Drive. Pull it up on a map, Sylvan Lake, and you'll see it's a beautiful lake. It is probably it's probably the deepest lake in central Alberta here, because most of the other lakes in this area here, when you look from the top view, like from the satellite view of the lakes, they look green. So they're not really deep lakes, and they've got a lot of algae and stuff in them. Whereas this lake here, it looks black, when you look at the satellite view, because the lake is so deep. And there's lots of fish in this lake too. Like I see, there's ice fishing in the wintertime, so I go rolling around. In fact, I did videos of rolling up to people and see what kind of fish they catch, and they got fish this big, this long. There's different types of fish in here. There's perch. I think there's pickerel. There's whitefish. I don't know what other. There's a bunch of different kinds of fish in this lake. I'm not a fisherman myself, so I don't go out there. So I'm not familiar with everything. But people are fishing off of the docks. In fact, I asked a kid fishing on the dock there, and he said he caught a fish this big, and I think it was I don't know what kind of fish he said it was. I don't remember. But, hey, and that was just the other day there. So they are catching some pretty big fish down there. And, that's maybe one thing that I'll get into. But I'm slowly kind of just moving in and, one step at a time with everything that I'm doing here. We're having fun rolling around town in our golf cart. And, I went to a few garage sales there the day before yesterday, and I bought this really nice sled. A sled with really high sides on it. It's a plastic sled, but a long one, about 6 feet long, with 1 foot long sides on it there. Where I'm going to pull that behind my quad in the wintertime, because in the wintertime you can drive a quad around here in the whole town. You can drive a quad, you can drive a snowmobile, You can drive your snowmobile right up to the gas station and fill up your snowmobile here, or your quad for that, like, hey, that's what I do. That's how I fill up my quad, is drive right to the gas station with the quad and then drive right over onto the lake there and buzz around all over the place there and visit with the people that are having fun there. And in the summertime, they've just instituted where you can have golf carts. This is the first year that they're allowing golf carts, so I'm one of the first people out here to have a golf cart out here. And we're having lots and lots of fun. It is a little bit cloudy out there now, and it's a little bit hazy out there. If you can see behind me, right over here, the lake is from here to about here, and from here up, this is the north shore of the lake, which is quite a ways away. This is a pretty big lake here. I don't know how many kilometers it is to that, but you can see the north shore is pretty hazy over there. So we do have a little bit of smoke in the air. When it's really, really smoky, you can barely see the lake there on that video there. And that video is right out my window here. So we've got a nice view of the lake. So I'm not right directly on the lake, like I don't have some kind of a pier or something like that. If you're living right on the lake, well, then you'll have a pier running onto the lake where you can moor your boat or stuff like that. But I'm close enough here where it's just a very, very short walk, and I'm right into the sand there with the sandy beach, whatever, and that kind of stuff. So it's a great time here. I would recommend, it's like that, you make changes in your life, and, some people are living on welfare and live here, like you can rent a place here for, like a whole house here for like a couple $1,000s or whatever. Maybe a 1-bedroom apartment for $1,000 or whatever, 2-bedroom for $1,500. Like that's what the rents are in the area here. But to actually buy something in here, you could be anywhere from $5 million down to maybe buy some kind of a double wide trailer or something for under 300,000 or whatever, on your own piece of land that you own or whatever. Or there's trailer parks around here where you can actually just park your fifth wheel or your trailer. Lots of people just have their trailer here parked year round, and they just come out here for whatever, for the summer, and hang out, so like it is, I would call it a resort. I actually would call it a resort. That being said, what else is a resort? I don't know, what else it could be, but other people, they just sit in the dungeon, whatever, with dark colored walls or whatever, because the walls are so smoked up or whatever that you can't see anything. And, when they go outside, they just show their face in their car or something like that, and don't really show you any of the area or what it actually looks like here. So you have no idea that they're living in a nice location, and they're just cooped up in a little pig pen or something like that. Yeah, but anyways, Dimebag, hey, good to see you there, Dimebag. Nice to see you in there. Let's see, Deb's Crazy Daily in there. Nice to see you there, Deb. Thanks a lot for popping in. If anyone has a channel that they want to promote, just type in !link, and my bot will drop your link. We've got Big D popping into the chat there. Hey there, Big D. We may not agree on much. We may not agree on anything, but we've known each other for a while. How was Alberta? Alberta, the first province to go digital IDs. I thought they were all about freedom down there. Well, I don't know if you could call it digital ID, but I think the government wanted to just make it so that you don't have to carry too many pieces of paper with you, which I think is a good idea. So what they did is they made it so that you've got your your certification of being a Canadian citizen and a person that lives in Alberta on your driver's license, along with your what do you call it? Your medical your medical card, you know how you have your card when you go walk into a hospital or something like that. You have to show your identification that you're a person that lives in Alberta. Your Alberta healthcare card, that information. Then you have a number, right? Healthcare number. So that is all included on your driver's license now, so that when you go and get your driver's license, and apparently when you go and get your driver's license, you have to have proof that you have citizenship in Canada, I hear, because some people are going to get their driver's license and they're going, no, you can't have a driver's license based on showing them your old driver's license, but you have to have your Canadian citizenship card or whatever with you. So I don't know. As of July the 1st, they came up with that. So basically, it's 3 things are now embedded: your driver's license, your healthcare, and your Canadian citizenship. So if you want to call that digital ID, hey, I guess you call it digital ID. Are they going to be storing information about you, for example, that you got taken to court or owe somebody money or stuff like that in that database? Who knows? I don't know. You know, it's the government. The government is doing that. But, you know, they pretty much control you, like with the driver's license. If you have a driver's license in any province, well, consider that to be your digital ID, you know. And if you have a social insurance number, that is like a digital ID for the government as far as you're paying taxes and stuff like that. At least they didn't put, you know, your SIN number in with that. I guess they could have, you know, and then that would have been pretty much all encompassing. What else do they need to know about you except, you know, pretty much those 4 bits of information, you know. But what about when you have a rewards card with some outfit like Optimum or Shoppers Drug Mart or something like that? That's akin to being digital ID, because anytime you buy something, it's like, yeah, give me your Optimum card. You give them that card, they scan it, whatever. Right away, they track what you bought, they track who you are, they track where you live, they track how you paid for it, what card you have, what your card number is. Like, if that isn't digital ID, I don't know what is. And now they're going to getting that one step further by having these digital displays of what product costs are, so that when you walk into the stores, they can alter that price based on who you are, what you are, how wealthy you are, how much money, available income you might have, stuff like that. And they're actually doing that now, right? Because you've got some states in the States that are now putting a clamp on that and saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. And they've seen big discrepancies on people buying stuff where one guy pays literally, $100 more for buying a bunch of items compared to somebody else, depending on how wealthy they are. So, that whole stuff is becoming a reality. And the stores are actually the first ones that are jumping on that digital ID bandwagon. Excuse me, because I'm hiccuping a little bit here. Hang on, let me have this here. So yeah, it is probably going to be natural that that happens. But what you really, 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 really have to worry about is the government, as far as the federal government and the revenue agency, right? The tax collection department, because they want their cut from you, right? They want to make sure that whatever transaction that you do, that they take their cut of it, right? For example, let's say that you're a worker where you're building fences or decks or something like that, right? They want to make sure that if any money is transacted between the guy that you're building the deck for and yourself, that you don't get paid cash under the table. Let's say that it's $1,000 to build a deck or something, right? Of course, it'll be way more than that. But, the government wants to make sure that the homeowner doesn't pay you cash and you pocket that $1,000 cash and you don't give the government their share, right? The government doesn't like that. And they want to get their cut, or make sure that they get their cut, by introducing a government method of payment. And that's why when you hear about getting rid of cash, the cashless society, and everybody paying by electronic means, either an e-transfer or by a credit card or whatever, if it's done electronically, okay, the government wants to be able to track that and to be able to say, okay, yeah, that homeowner gave you $1,000. We want our, 40% of that money, to the government. The same as if you were, at a job and your employer took that 40% off and sent it to the government, right? So what they want to do is control, and that's why when you hear the term cashless society, it's to get rid of those under-the-table transactions that are happening all the time. Let's say even for example, they could go as far as to, you go to a garage sale or something and you want to buy something. If there's a cashless society, they can tax what you buy at a garage sale, whereas right now you just pay the guy cash for the item, you take it, whatever, the guy in the house, he just pockets that money, whatever, because it was a used item, whatever. But, it's a way for the government to be able to increase their cash flow. And that the government is always short of money. Always. And you know why? Because you got guys like Mark Carney that is like spend over $100 billion since he's been elected. He's going to be spending $100 billion since he was elected, but he's going to be spending $100 billion on just submarines here over the next 10 years. He's going to be buying a bunch of airplanes. They're going to be spending a bunch of money on carbon capture, sucking air, out of the atmosphere and pumping it into a drilled hole in the ground, this kind of bullshit. And they want your money to be able to pay for that stuff. So they're going to suck it out of you. Either they're going to tax you, or they're going to carbon tax companies, carbon tax you, which, of course, if you carbon tax a company, the company just passes that carbon tax on to you, the end user. They just increase the price of whatever it is that they're selling, right? It could be natural gas, could be diesel fuel, could be gas at your pump, could be propane, any of that stuff. They get their pound of flesh out of you, right? And those are the big reasons why Alberta wants out of Canada, because we're the tax nation. In fact, is there another nation in the world that is taxed as much as Canada? Is there? Point one out. Let's hear, what other nation are you taxed more than you are in Canada? And even stuff like they limit the number of companies in some, like, for example, cell phone companies, right? There's such a limit on the number of cell phone companies in Canada, and internet companies. Like they're like controlled by the government. They're limited. It's like a monopoly, and they can charge whatever they want. And we're paying the highest rates for internet and for cell phones than anywhere in the world here in Canada. Okay, and it's because the government makes it so that other companies cannot enter into competition, right? They limit that. And why they do that? Because of probably you've got the existing companies that have money and give money to the political organizations that are running the country, and, put a clamp on the number of companies that can actually open up shop here, right? It's a monopoly. And it's a controlled monopoly, and it's a sin. It's an absolute sin. We all know that that's happening, and we'd like to have something done about it, but nobody's doing anything about it. It's the same thing as Mark Carney and his business of being so-called in cahoots with Brookfield, and that whatever Mark Carney says that he's going to do, a lot of what he's spending money on benefits Brookfield, and watch Moose on the Loose. He's probably the best guy for exposing the interconnections between Brookfield, the Brookfield subsidiaries, and the various expenditures in the federal government right across Canada. It doesn't matter whether it's in housing, or whether it's on some kind of nuclear plants, or whether it's on, it doesn't matter what it is, because Brookfield is such a diverse company with so many subsidiaries. They've got their fingers in damn near everything. The very latest thing is that they want the fuel to be using this so-called green fuel that Brookfield subsidiary is involved with that whole thing to be able, so that airlines use this so-called green fuel and carbon tax credits and crap like that that are not going to do anything for you. It's just going to cost more for you to have an airplane flight anywhere in Canada or anywhere in the world on any kind of a Canadian airline. And now he's even talking about privatizing airlines. What? Are we going to sell off our national airline, Air Canada, to an American company or something like that? I don't know what's going to happen, but they're talking about stuff like that going on. So it's kind of sad. Everything that Mark Carney is doing. And the Liberals, they're like, oh, yeah, vote for the banker, vote for the banker. Don't you realize that Mark Carney is actually more right-wing than anyone else in the history of the Liberal government? He's the corporate dude. The banker, the corporate dude. He's all for the corporation. He's all for the corporations making money off of the backs of Canadians. And you guys are so stupid that you're like, yeah, elbows up, let's vote Liberal. And now, he's all for climate. He's going to save the climate, and he's going to bring in these carbon taxes and stuff like that. He's going to be great for Canada, Yeah, meanwhile, what does he do? Alberta threatens to separate from Canada. What's the first thing he does? Oh, let's run over and make an MOU deal with Danielle Smith to build a pipeline. So now the Elbows people are like, what? What, a pipeline? What the hell are you doing building a pipeline, Yeah. Will the pipeline ever happen? Probably not. Because do we here in Alberta, do we trust Carney? Absolutely not. We don't trust Carney. We don't want to have anything to do with Carney. Carney is the worst thing to happen to Canada. Us people on the right side say, you know what? We need to save money, not tax money. A right-winger doesn't like to pay tax. That's the first thing. And when you get a guy like Carney in, all he does is he spends, which of course is going to increase the amount of tax that you pay. Everything, if he can't tax you personally, then he's going to tax everything around you that you need to buy, right? So that's a given, right? In fact, he's even saying that he needs to cut back on government employees because he sees that the government is paying too much. He needs some of that money that you're paying government employees to pay for those crazy things that he's got on the go. People on the right don't like Carney. People on the left don't like Carney, but yet the people in the middle, there's so many people that don't even know what the hell is going on. They're not watching what's going on. All they do is they watch CBC, CTV, City TV, CTV, those mainstream networks that are all run by the unions. And what are the unions? Lefties. They're lefties. The unions are lefties. What's their line of thought? Leftism, right? All left. So they love Carney. They prop him up all the time, and they think he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. And they crap on the conservatives all the time, crap on Poilievre, don't give him any chance whatsoever. CBC, for the longest time, didn't even let him on to talk on CBC. When do you ever see Poilievre on CTV? When? When do you see him on there on CBC? Yeah, you don't see him on there at all. It's a sad situation that we're living in here. And all of the mainstream media that is on your radio, on your television, is left-wing media. All of it. And, that's why you see a Liberal government in Canada, because the right-wingers, the conservatives, don't have a damn chance. We don't have a chance. They don't have a chance of getting in, It's just not going to happen. And when you have, again, I'll get into this mass immigration thing. Why do we have mass immigration? Now, there's a couple of reasons for it in Canada here. Probably the first thing is when a particular government brings people into the country, those people are going to vote for that party that was in power when they came in. So, for example, if you came in when the Liberals are in party, you're probably going to vote Liberal for your life. So, for the last 10 years, the millions and millions of people that have been piling into Canada here all go like, yes, I will vote for you, Carney, Liberals. I'm a Liberal for life. That's why you see so many people, so many immigrants coming into this country that vote Liberal all over the place. And they put the immigrants everywhere. They put them in Edmonton, they put them in Red Deer, they put them in Calgary, they put them in Vancouver, they put them in all over the place to try and, bolster those. And of course, most of them are in Ontario. Most of them are Ontario. A lot of them go to Quebec, but not as many in Quebec. Quebec has a kind of a deal where they don't allow quite as many of them into Quebec. The ones that speak French, but English not so much. And I don't have anything against immigration. Hey, immigration is okay, but to just bring in immigrants to bolster your votes. That's immoral to do that. That's not right to do that, and it's sad that the Liberals do that. And now, the next thing that they do is they bring the people into the country because they are cheap labor. Okay, have you heard that before? Have you heard that? Are these people that they're bringing in skilled, high-end workers, or is it just hey, we don't care who it is. He just came off the street over there and he's going to come onto the street over here. They are cheap labor. The cheapest labor that is available is on your low-end immigrant that just came to the country because he's going to take your low-end job. Like your dishwasher, your order desk person at a fast food restaurant, maybe a janitor or something like that. But these are not your high-end engineers and doctors and nurses and people like that. Of course, some of them are. But the vast majority of them are low-end workers. And a lot of them come to our country and they do work those low-end jobs. There's no doubt about that. But a lot of them come here and they end up not getting a job. They end up being on welfare, okay? We'll call it welfare. But when you come into Canada, the very first thing you do is you get free money from the government. And in fact, they will pay an immigrant more free money than they will a little old lady that's retired, okay? You know that? The immigrant will get more money than the little old retired lady. How do I know that? Because the lady that's a cashier at the Walmart store is retired and she's not making enough money from her retirement to live on, and she has to end up working as a cashier at the Walmart. Okay? I actually talked to somebody there about a couple of weeks ago about that in particular as I was walking through the till. I wondered why such an old lady was working at Walmart. That's why, because she can't survive off of what she gets from the frickin' government for retirement. Unfreaking believable what the country is like here. And, it's actually being proven here. I was looking at some numbers here of the people that have come to Alberta here. I'm talking about immigrants. Danielle Smith came out with a report saying that a lot of those people are not of the immigrants, and they took a bulk look at certain years of immigration to Alberta, and it ends up being a net minus to the province because there are more people that are on welfare and not actually working than are actually contributing to the province. So it ends up being a net minus to the province, where the working people and the people that were here, the guys like me and whoever else, are actually supporting those people that are coming to Alberta here. So, you can overdo it. You have to be looking at things like, and this is what the Canadian government did not do. They did not look at, how many jobs are there? How many jobs are available? They did not look at what kind of housing is available. How many houses are available? They did not look at, are these people going to be able to put food on their plate? Is there food available for these people? Do you know that there's 2 million people a month in Canada that are going to food banks, right, across Canada. Oh, why is that? You know, and who are these people that are at the food banks? Go over there and see who's lining up. Talk to them. You'll see. A lot of them are the immigrants that have come to this freaking country that aren't working, don't have a job, living on welfare, whatever. You know, it's like those kind of things that are really hurting our country here. Also, the healthcare system. You know, in Alberta here, there's lineups. There's lineups for 8 to 12 hours at the hospital to see a doctor. You walk in there with your arm dangling down like this, broken arm, you're going to be waiting 8 to 12 hours to see a doctor, you know, because you've got lineups of people. You've got so many people overwhelming the healthcare system that you don't have enough hospitals, okay? You don't have enough doctors. You don't have enough nurses to be able to service all these people. And, you know, the lefties in Alberta, they go, oh, well, that's the fault of the Alberta government. That's not the federal government. No, it's the federal government, because it's the federal government that are in charge of mass immigration. They have brought so many people into the country that the people don't have places to live. Or if they are, you know, they're making the money and they are taking the places to live, and then you're displacing the people at the low end of the scale, and you've got people living out in tents. There are more people living in tents in tent cities all across Canada today than there have ever been in days gone by. Unfrickin' believable. You can't make this shit up. Where's my blood pressure pill when I need it? And this shit is not rocket science either. This is just simple. Think about it and apply the rules of supply and demand, okay? If you don't have enough supply of anything and you have too much demand, then you're going to have an imbalance, right? And what the government of Canada does not do whatsoever is look to see, are there jobs available for people? Yes or no? No. No jobs? Okay, don't bring people in. Is there housing for people to live in? If no, then no, don't bring as many people in. Is there enough health care for people that come into the country? No. If no, then stop bringing the people in. You know, it's not just let the floodgates wide open, which is exactly what they did. They literally let millions and millions of people into the country, not even thinking about what the hell would happen, thinking, oh, I'm going to get the vote. What were the reasons for bringing them in? The vote and the cheap labor to bolster the country's GDP. Unfrickin' believable. And the lefties are like, it's the Alberta government. The Alberta government isn't spending enough on healthcare. That's why there's not enough healthcare. No, it's the Alberta government. They're not spending money on more housing. No, it's the Alberta government for not making more jobs, more government jobs or something like that. Yeah, blame it on the conservative provincial government when it's all the liberals at the federal level that are to blame. Like, really, honestly. You know, the liberals are screwing Canada. And you liberals are like, oh, elbows up, great, great, great country. Yeah, you know, you don't care because you have enough money. You lived your life, you saved your money, you've got a house, you know, that's the elbows up crowd. That's who's here and that loves stuff like that. But what about the little guy? What about the little guy? I have friends, I know people that don't have much money, that live from paycheck to paycheck, the people that are on AISH, on government assistance and stuff like that, right? And when you carbon tax their fuel to the point that they can't even put fuel in their car, and when you have the price of rental going up so much that they can't afford to even live in their rental, and they have to end up buying a tent and living out on the street, you, my friend, have problems. And that's where we're at. We're screwing ourselves. We're absolutely screwing ourselves. And you guys are voting for it, right? You're voting for more of the same, you know, and hey, who am I to complain? You know, like people go, oh, Tommy, you are so unfortunate, you know, like, no, I'm not unfortunate. I myself am okay, you know, and I'm not I'm not trying to help myself. I've already pulled myself by my bootstraps, and I am where I am today because I am a very hard-working person. I have worked hard all my life. I've never been on unemployment enjoyment or on welfare or anything like that. I've never gotten money from the government for sitting at home and putting my feet up in the air. I've always worked. I've worked from one job. When I finished one job, I went to another job. I never ever had not even one day of downtime with any jobs that I've ever had in my life. I worked hard all my life, you know, and you guys are like, oh yeah, Tommy, you're just lazy. You're just sitting around complaining about life. You know what? I have the chance where I know what's going on. I see what's going on, and I talk about what's going on. And, I talk the truth. This is all the truth. None of what I'm saying is bullshit or made up or anything like that. And it's all pretty much common sense, right? I've lived my life with the thought that common sense will get you places, right? If you try and cheat people, if you try and hoodwink people, if you try and do crap that is going to cause harm to other people, you're not going to get very far in life, right? So what you need to do is be a good person and get out there and try and help other people. Even if you've got it made and you don't have to worry about yourself, worry about other people out there, right? Everybody needs to have a good life, but what I see the federal government doing is actually making life poorer. Now you have children or kids, teenagers, whatever, people that are 20 years old, 30 years old, that will never be able to afford their own home. And that was something that, hey, 20 years ago was something that everyone could afford their own home. Now, with the inflation, people can't even afford to put frickin' food on their plate. They're going to food banks and crap like that. Like I'm hearing horror stories from young people on a daily basis where they're complaining, where they can't even get a job. Teenagers can't even get a job because you've brought in so much mass immigration that's who it is that has a job. You've got teenagers that go to school and they're trying to look for a summer job. They put out 100 resumes to different businesses and they don't get anything. That's where we're at here now. It's a sad situation that we're in. It's absolutely sad. Deb says over the last couple of decades with young immigrants from all over the world came for our education and they do it legally. We have one of the best universities here in Hamilton for the medical field. Yeah, well, same thing here in Alberta. We've got the University of Alberta, the same thing. But have you guys seen that report where you've got students, because you have a whole bunch of students that have come over to Canada, and there's a kind of a mill. You could almost call it a student mill, where organizations brought over students, and then you had these fake schools that opened up all over the place, like in strip malls and stuff like that. And you had these students that came over here. They either got a fake education or something, or they got a real education, whatever. But now we're at a situation where the people that have come over here, the students, and now that they've completed their education, where they're complaining that they can't stay in Canada. Right? I don't know if you've seen that story. Let me bring it up here for you so that you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. These are the students right here. Okay. Now, these students have basically come over to Canada for an education, right? And under the auspice of come to Canada, get an education, right? So they come to Canada, they get their education, but they've somehow been hoodwinked into thinking that if they come here to get an education, that they will be able to get citizenship along with their education. And they're very surprised that now that they've finished their term, their visa is now expired, and now they need to go back home to where they came from, right? Because their education is over, and they're complaining. and they are having they're on a food hunger strike, okay, and complaining that they're not able to live in Canada. So let's listen to this little bit here. And they're on protest. They're on strike here. This is a hunger strike, I think, is what this is all about. Let's listen.
We're in Northeast Calgary looking at a very, very big protest by international students in Calgary that are protesting the mass refusal of work permit that are being refused by the Canadian government. You can see right here at the Saddletown Circle, a big group of international students have all gathered here saying that don't let our education go to waste. Wake up, IRCC.
Well, hang on a second. Why would your education go to waste? You know, you came to Canada for an education, right? And it was for a certain period of time, and you had a visa for that education, and your visa expired, and now the Canadian government wants you to leave, okay, because you got your education here. Go back to your home country as a more educated person with a Western education. Maybe you learn some things that you can apply to where you came from. Maybe you're going to be an entrepreneur back in your home country or whatever, or be a more educated person than you might have gotten. Now, why would you come to Canada for an education unless you thought that you'd get a better education than the country that you came from? But your education is not being wasted, even if you have to go back to your homeland.
Want justice. They're saying here are our voices, here are our concerns. They're saying we want justice for the postgraduate work permit. They're saying IRCC, give us fairness, fair decisions, not unfair postgraduate work permit refusals. So there is a lot of...
Keep in mind that at this moment in time, Canada is overpopulated with too many immigrants because of mass immigration. We have too many people in Canada as we speak right now. So, yeah, why would the Canadian government say, okay, not a problem, become a Canadian citizen, add to our workforce here, when you came to Canada for an education? Nobody ever promised you. Maybe back in your homeland, somebody made a promise to you. But over here in Canada, the only promise that was made to you was an education visa. And hey, it's over. So if it's over, you need to go back to your homeland. Simple. Why have a strike and protest about the way the rules are? Go back to your homeland and apply for immigration just like everybody else. That's how you get into Canada.
Student in here that are talking about this, and let us talk to some of the students that are right here. I was just talking to a group of students right here who said, did you say like you got a work permit and your friend didn't get a work permit? Is that what's going on?
We are friends together,
yeah.
Classmates. We studied in
Speak louder.
We studied in the same class,
yeah.
Same benches.
Right.
I got approved.
Right.
She got refused.
She got refused. Why do you think that is happening? We don't know. So lots of support from the city regarding this. Now look at this. Look at how many people are here in Saddletown Circle. Huge group of students here. Let me talk to one of the group leaders right here. Let's talk to Sikandar. Sikandar, do you have a second? Okay, he's kind of busy right now, but we'll come back. But look at all of this. All of
he's
these
busy talking
right
to the immigration office back in India.
To amplify their voices and let the Canadian government know that you cannot have unfair postgraduate work permit. After you finish graduation, everybody needs a chance to work. They need a chance.
There aren't any jobs. The young people in Canada are complaining that they don't have a job already. Never mind this whole program of bringing people in for an education. I have no idea what it was all about. And really, it fostered the opening, like I said, of schools in strip malls and stuff like that. Like, I don't know what this was all about, but whoever was behind this whole thing, of course, it was the Liberal federal government. Yeah, we'll blame the Liberals because absolutely, this is the Liberals' fault.
To work and they work in jobs that a lot of Canadians will not be. So look at this. We studied here. We deserve to work here. grant postgraduate work permit to international graduates. We invested our time, money, and future in Canada. We followed the rules.
No, we studied here to get an education in a Western world. Okay? A lot of people come to Canada to study, and after they're finished, to go to university or whatever, and after they're finished their studies, they go back to their country where they came from, and they apply their studies in the country where they came from. That's what it's all about. Why do you have any right to live in a country that you came to get an education in? Like, why? Why? Like, who made that promise? Nobody did. Nobody promised anything to these people. And at the end of your study permit, that doesn't entitle you to a work permit. If you want a work permit, then you apply for a work permit and you can come over and work. But if there are no jobs, then you're not going to get a work permit. That's how it works.
We earned our diplomas. We demand a fair decision. Support students, support Canada. Fair decision. We deserve a fair and transparent process. So they're all here. They're just, waiting here by the street to let you guys know. A huge number of them have all joined here to ask for a fair decisions. So these are all international students. I used to be an international student. I know how much courage it takes for international students to come out and speak up. So you can see that these people have overcome their fear, overcome their worries, because their career, their education, their lives are on the line. So anyways, let's see. Sikandar, do you have a moment to just speak, and what's the message you want Canadians to know?
Hi, thank you so much for giving us time for a bite. Like, we are here, the international students. We came in Canada like around 2022 and 3.
Yeah.
All we pay the similar fees, like 32,000 to the college, Potas College, and we were promised by the college that we are eligible for PGWP, post-graduation work.
Oh, you were promised by the college something or other. Oh, I have a quick phone call here. Hang on. Let me just put this on pause for a second here. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I didn't want to play the bit here without being able to interlude here and talk about it here. But yeah, the bit is about half done here, so we'll get through with it here. Yeah, but hey, this is supply and demand. And over the years, because I live in Edmonton, in an area of Edmonton that is very close to the University of Alberta, right? And I have I've dealt with, whatever, with a lot of people that come from countries to go to the University of Alberta. And I've seen it over the last 20 years where people come to Alberta, they go to the University of Alberta, they get an education. For example, there were people that came from Iran, believe it or not, a lot of people from Iran came to Edmonton to go to the University of Alberta. And guess what course that they were taking? The nuclear technology, or nuclear whatever, to become a nuclear physicist, like, oh, wow, that's interesting. Why would somebody from Iran want to become a nuclear physicist? Maybe to make a bomb in Iran, I don't know. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? But those people came to Edmonton, got the education in to become a nuclear physicist, and then went back to their home country of Iran. Like I saw it all the time, where people came here, they got their education, and they went back. So why is it, and it's not up to the school to be saying, oh, you know what, well, you got the education, and we're going to promise you a job? Like, come on. That's not up to the university or the school to make any kind of promises like that. That would be the government. And of course, the government doesn't make promises like that. The government says, okay, you're coming over here on a student visa for like 4 years or something like that. We'll give you that visa. And the expectation is after 4 years, you go back to your home country. Well, or you apply for a work permit after that, right? And whether you get a work permit that's not a 100% thing. And generally speaking, you don't get a work permit when you're already in the country. You go back to your homeland and you apply for to be an immigrant or to be a citizen or to have a work permit and that kind of stuff. So don't expect just because you come to a country to get an education that you're going to be all of a sudden become a citizen or become a worker after your education, because we have enough people, we have enough low-paid immigrant workers in our country already, like honestly. And, you should come to a country to get an education, to do better for yourself back in your home country. That should be your expectation when you come to, a place of higher learning that is a higher learning than you would be able to get in your own country. Why would you come here to get an education? Why wouldn't you just get your education in India or wherever you're from? Like, why come here? Why come here in the first place? If you're coming here for a job or something like that, that's something completely separate from an education.
Okay.
But some of the students get their permits, and other who are remaining, government IRCC refused their permit on the mass refusal. Till today, from the 7th of July, we have around 500 plus refusals. The reason is same, that your course is non-creditable.
Where's that, in Calgary?
If we are non-creditable, then how the other students are eligible? And after 7th of July, if there is 500 refusal, then on other side there are around 50 approvals, then how they are eligible?
How are they eligible? That
So the
makes
question
sense.
is, I think there is error in technical issue might be done by the IRCC. That's why there is a mass refusal. We request to everyone, we request government bodies, we request IRCC, please look over this matter as soon as
SW.
possible, because when the student get a refusal, from that day, they are under the 90 days periods to restore their status.
That's why you see so many students are here today, guys. Right by the street, right by the road in Saddletown Circle. Everybody's seated.
Well, and the question is, okay, wherever they're from, India or Pakistan or wherever, it looks like there's people from not just one country in the group there. But when they go to those places that say, "Hey, go for education in Canada," are those people that are saying, "Go for an education, and after your education, then you become a Canadian citizen"? You know, like, is that what kind of promises that? Who knows what kind of promises are made to them in their own countries before they even sign up for these projects? You know, and why is it that they're now after their education expecting that they should be getting a job? You know, education is an education. The job is something completely separate. You know, I'm not, and again, you know, like, you know, there's those of you out there that go, "Oh, Tommy Temper, you racist. You're just a racist for not allowing these people to stay in your country and give them a job and, you know, give them citizenship and this kind of stuff." You know, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. I haven't seen it work like that in years gone by, and why it should be like that or why they would think that it would be like that today, I have no idea. But obviously, that's what their expectations are. Like the guy said, it was, let's go back to what he said there. It was something about the school. The school made promises, right? If you listen to this guy, he's talking about the school made promises to the people, and that's not up to the school to make promises about getting a job. Holy jeez.
Courage it takes for international students to come out and speak up. So you can see that these people have overcome their fear, overcome their worries, because their career, their education, their lives are on the line. So anyways, let's see. Sikandar, do you have a moment to just speak, and what's the message you want Canadians to know?
Hi, thank you so much for giving us time for a bite. Like, we are here, the international students. We came in Canada like around 2022 and 3. All we pay the similar fees like 32,000 to the college, Quotas College, and we were promised by the college that we are eligible for PGWP post-graduation work permit.
Okay.
But some of the students get their permit.
The school promised that you are eligible for some kind of a work permit, is what he said there. The school promised. He uses the word promised. No, they didn't promise that you're eligible. You're just plain eligible to apply for a work permit, right? That's all. And if you're rejected for the work permit because we've already got too many workers over here on temporary work permits and all kind of stuff like that, well, then don't expect to get a job, because if there are no jobs, you're not going to get a work permit. You know, like, this is not rocket science. You know, they should have taught you that in school. Hate to be blunt about the whole thing, but, you know, somebody has to say something about this. So for you guys to be out there going, "Oh, we're on a hunger strike because we didn't get a work permit." Yeah, well, you know, go to the food bank. No, you don't want, wait, hey, actually, you're saving the food bank, okay, because you don't have to go to the food bank.
And other who are remaining, government IRCC refused their permits on the mass refusal. Till today, from the 7th of July, we have around 500 plus refusals. The reason is same, that your course is non-creditable.
Danielle Smith wanted high-end workers, okay? Brett, there was a time when Canada allowed high-end workers, engineers, doctors, lawyers, people with high-end educations to come in. And that's who Danielle Smith wanted to come into Alberta, not low-end workers for the Tim Hortons. I don't know if you understand that, but there's a difference between a high-end immigrant that is highly educated and is directly employable, and just somebody off the street with practically no education and just wants to come over for whatever, to work at Tim Hortons or a low-end job. There are differences between immigrants. And if Canada does become, or rather, sorry, if Alberta does become its own entity, we'll probably end up saying, okay, if you want to be an immigrant to Alberta, you better show your credentials and make sure that you're a high-end worker, because those are the people that we actually need. Those are the people that are going to contribute to society here, and not just be laying around on welfare. We want high-end people to to immigrate to Alberta here. That's what we want. I'm not going to go into the details of that. But remember, Brett, there were times in the past, Brett, when Alberta did need workers here. Because remember, who is the biggest job creator? Which province is the largest job creator in Canada? Where do the jobs come from? It's from Alberta. Because we have industries here that require people to work. And there are some periods of time in the past when Alberta did need immigrants. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But you have to look at, do you have jobs for people? No jobs for people, you don't need the immigrants. If you have jobs, you need the immigrants. It's an ebb and flow thing that happens. Not what the Liberals have done, where they just open the floodgates and just bring millions of people into the country all over the place when there aren't jobs for those people. That's what the problem is.
Right.
If we are non-creditable,
Right.
then how the other students are eligible?
Right.
And after 7th of July, if there is 500 refusal, then on other side there are around 50 approvals, then how they are eligible?
How are they eligible? That
So the
makes
question
sense.
is,
Yeah.
I think there is error.
And I don't think he's talking for across Canada. I think he's talking for just in that area where he is, where it's Calgary, where you've got 500 students there that are looking for jobs and 50 of them got work permits or something. So, hey, I'm sad to hear that, but, that's reality.
And technical issue might be done by the IRCC. That's why there is a mass refusal. We request to everyone, we request government bodies, we request IRCC, please
Right.
look over this matter as soon as possible, because when the student get a refusal from that day, they are under the 90 days periods to restore their
Right.
status.
That's why you see so many students are here today, guys. Right by the street, right by the road in Saddletown Circle. Everybody's seated. Everybody's asking you to listen to them. Don't fall under the pull your ladder syndrome, that just because you got here and that now you're going to pull the ladder from the next person that wants to stay, that actually wants to stay legally, that had a pathway to it, because they were promised after you graduate that the way was there to get a 3-year work permit, and after that
notice that she's using, and the other East Indian guy used the word promised. They keep using the word promised. Nobody promised anybody anything. Okay, there was the route for being able to sign paperwork to be able to apply for a job after your education was finished. Nobody made any kind of a promise that you would actually be accepted. And you know what? The government pulls stuff like that. They put things in, and then they pull them when they have enough people working. They'll pull that particular project away. For example, the federal government had a plan for, let's say that you immigrated from a certain country, that they had a thing where you could apply for your grandmother and your grandfather and your mother and your father and all of your family to come into Canada because you got into Canada. They had that plan. They actually, it was there, and a lot of people applied for it, and hey, the whole family came over, and you'll see it. When you see a family over here in Canada with people so old that they can't even walk, right? But yet they're here. They came in on those programs, and they're not working at all. They're just eating up our healthcare system, right? And then they pulled that plan. The government pulled that. In fact, I just heard it just the other day where they pulled it, and they're now not allowing you to get your whole family to come over here, right? So the government has programs, and they institute them, and then they pull those programs when they get heat from the public, and the public doesn't like that that's happening, and they go, oh, okay, well, we need votes. We better not piss off our voters, so we're going to pull that program. Or in this particular case, maybe you've got more than enough foreign workers over here already, because you also have other things that are called the temporary foreign worker program, where the worker comes over to Canada, the government pays for 50% of their wage at the Tim Hortons, and Tim Horton pays for the other 50% of the wage. So effectively, the Tim Hortons gets the temporary foreign worker to work at, let's say it's $15 an hour, Tim Hortons pays $7.50 an hour. The government pays $7.50 an hour, right? So hey, that's cheaper than hiring a student, because Tim Hortons would have to pay the student $15 an hour. So Tim Hortons is not stupid. Likewise, I'm not just using them as an example. The small business is not stupid. Lots of small businesses would rather hire a temporary foreign worker for $7.50 an hour than to hire a student at $15 an hour. So you're actually, the government has set up a program to undercut the students that are born here, that are going to school here and need a job after school or in the summer months or whatever, stuff like that. We're like cutting our own frickin' throat by this temporary worker program, right? So, you bring in so many temporary workers, foreign workers. Well, hey, why do you need these guys here that have an education here to give them a job when you already have the temporary foreign worker program eating up all the jobs that are already there? Like, come on. This is not rocket science. Again, it's a matter of supply and demand. If there are no jobs and you don't have jobs, well, you're not going to get a permit to work here.
Work permit, then they have a chance to either apply for immigration, and then after that they get to either stay or their immigration gets refused.
In fact, it's not about the job. It's right what you just said. It's about the immigration. They actually probably had expectations that when they became a student in Canada, that they would be able to immigrate and become a citizen of Canada. That was the ultimate expectation in my mind. That's what they are probably pissed off about, because they, without having that job, they have no way to become an immigrant. No, you can actually go back to the homeland of where you came from, and you can apply for either a job, or you can apply for immigration, or apply for whatever you want. You can still do that. But just because you were a student here, that doesn't automatically mean that you get a job here, or that you become an immigrant here.
It is not fair mid-study, after they got their study permit, after they came here, to just be refused right away. So that is—
No, you came here for your student to get an education. There should have been, this whole thing is just such a schmozzle. And you can imagine that the people that are promoting this back in their home country probably promote it as being, hey, go to Canada and you'll become an immigrant. You'll become a citizen of Canada. All you got to do is just sign up for this student program, Like, I would almost bet that that's where the promises are. So when you hear people talking about, oh, there was promise this, promise that, promise the other thing, that's probably what these outfits, and it's like, yeah, pay us $5,000 or something, so they got rich on making promises that now can't be kept. And that's why these people are so pissed off. And I don't blame them for being pissed off, because there's a lot of corruption in this, student visa, worker programs, and all the rest of this crap that's going on here. It's a pretty corrupt system, especially when you have people promoting stuff in other countries. So did that happen? I don't know. I'm just saying that might have been what happened, and that might be why these guys are pissed off.
That is why I'm doing this video, so that we could let the government know it is not fair. It doesn't make sense that 500 student gets the approval and all of a sudden somebody else doesn't. So you see there are a mass number of students
because the
still
program
coming.
changes.
There's huge number of them by the street. They're coming in big numbers. They're coming in big numbers to ask the Canadian government to listen, for IRCC to listen, to make sure that they all get the approvals for their work permit. So again, if you're part of the Canadian government, give them this message that there are more and more students that are joining here. There are more and more.
Yeah. And I'm wondering why my kid doesn't have a job, or your kid doesn't have a job. You wonder why they don't have a job? You wonder why. I wonder why.
Students that are coming here, they're asking for their work permit to be reinstated. They're asking for their degrees to be respected. They're asking for the rights that they deserve, which was promised to them when they were coming here. Yes, with student visa, we finish our education, we finish our degrees, and then they get the work permit. So it is something that is just going to completely screw up their lives. So anyway, so that's what's going on. I hope you guys see what's happening, and I hope you guys actually
That was a liberal
take the
honking their horn.
their voices and amplify them. Fair review for postgraduate work permit refusal. Every case deserves justice. So you can't just give one case, approve it, and the other cases you can. So that's
Yes,
why
you
you see
can.
there's such a huge number of students. Anyways, again, guys,
It
listen
depends
to
as to
what's
whether or
going
not, you know,
on.
maybe the government is actually looking to see, are there jobs available for these people? And they're going, oh, you know what? There are no jobs available. So we can't grant work for the people that have gone to school.
right now, and see what you can do. These are legal, legitimate students. You know,
Yes.
legal, legitimate students.
Yes.
They're and
But are they legal people in Canada, or are they foreign illegal immigrants at this point in time if they're finished their education? Because when you're finished your education, the visa is over, and if your visa has expired, then you should be going back to your home country, wherever you came from, and not be in Canada with protesting that you don't have a job. Like, you know, what's going on here? What is the reality? Where's ICE? Where's ICE when you need them? There is no ICE in Canada.
now all of a sudden they're asking them to leave.
They're all in one place.
So
Easy to get them.
anyway, so now they're just taking a break and eating. So talk to you guys soon, and hope you
Yeah.
guys amplify their voices.
Oh my. Okay. Well, you know, it's sad. I you know, like, honestly, you know, you're going like, Tommy Temper, you have no compassion whatsoever. You know, I feel sad for those people that they were hoodwinked by somebody back at home that made promises to them that are not turning out to be true now that they're in Canada. You know, I'm sad about that, honestly. But they didn't get into this program with nothing. They had to have some money. Like, really, it probably cost them thousands and thousands of dollars to pay the company that they were involved with to get into this education program. They had to pay for the education. They had to pay for the airplane flight to come over to Canada. So these are not poor students to begin with. They came from wealthy families. You know, you have to probably think that, because if you're like living out on the street in Calcutta or something, you don't have the money to come over to Canada for an education. I'll tell you that right now. They have money already. So they're coming from moneyed families back from the country of origin. So, you know, sad to see that there aren't jobs for them. But we did give them an education. We promised them an education, and that promise has been fulfilled, right? They came over here, they got that education with the ability to apply for a job, and we actually allowed them to apply for a job. But if there are no jobs available, you know, hey, you have to say, sorry, no job. You know, you can't stay, you're not going to get a work permit if there are no jobs for you. So, yeah, that's it on that story. You know, like it, hey, the chat, you know, I saw lots of talking about that in the chat. It's too bad you didn't get an education, Tommy. Yeah, well, like, there's somebody like that is going to say something like that. So I'm going to ban you, no diggity. I'm going to ban you from my channel. I'm not even going to give you a timeout. I'm just going to ban you from my channel. So no diggity, you're going to disappear in here for saying, Tommy, yeah, sorry you did not get an education. What, do I sound like somebody that did not get an education? Do I? Do I sound like that? Okay, well, fine, but I'm educated enough to ban you from my chat. How about that? Okay, so no diggity is banned from the chat. So sorry to hear that you're banned into oblivion. So you can run back over to Catamus Rex's channel and report that you're now banned from my channel, okay? And by the way, anybody that's banned from my channel, do not expect to be unbanned for a long time. Like, really, it's going to take a lot to change my mind, because my chat does actually pretty good without the people that are banned here right now. Yeah, part of Bonza. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, part of Banza. I should have told you to ban that person there. In fact, there might be some other people in here. If there's any other mods in here that are watching that think that anybody else needs to be banned from my channel that is poking around here, then absolutely ban them from my channel here right now. Okay? How about that? Kit Kat. Yeah, exactly. You know, the last thing that you do is disrespect the podcaster, you know, the channel. You don't come into a channel and say, "Oh, Tommy, you should get an education," you know, or you have no education or something like that. You know, that's very, very disrespectful to say something like that. So no diggity. Shame on you. You've been coming around here for a long time. I've allowed you in the chat for a long time, but being disrespectful to me, it doesn't take much for somebody to get banned here now. Okay? So, yeah, no, we'll just say no to no diggity. That's good. Where's Brett? I'll let Brett give you the final word on that one.
Fuck all the fucking way off. Fuck all the way off. Fuck, I hate stupid fucking people.
That's right. No diggity. That's you.
Oh, fuck me, stupid fucking people.
Oh, we're loving it. Brad, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for letting me use those sound bites. Sound bite time. Okay, I'm going to say peace. What is that? Live prosperous and prosper. Is that how it goes? That's hard to do this. You try and do this. Live long and prosper. You're watching the Tommy Temper Show. I'm Tommy Temper. We're coming to you live from Sylvan Lake. And that's a lake in the background there. It's a nice day. It's a little bit windy out there, but I'm sure that I won't get blown into the lake flying, driving my golf cart around. But I'll think about my education after I leave. Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care. Stay out of trouble. And yeah, listen to this song.
But Otter was taking our billions. Very quization game. Sending it east to Quebec while we shoulder the blame.
And we're running about 75 people watching the stream. Thanks a lot wherever you're watching on whatever platform you're on. Appreciate your company.
Breaking free from their reins.
Alberta freedom.
Ringing loud and true.
Oh yeah.
Sovereignty calling, independence coming through. No more woke liberalism, stealing our way of life.
Time for a bite to eat.
Stand tall, cut loose from the strife.
I don't know why that little Canadian flag is flying there. We need a big blue Alberta flag. How about this? There you go. Alberta freedom.
Let the anthems roll, we're building our nation.
Oh yeah. Da da da.
From the prairie to the peaks, where the eagles soar high. We're sick of the
This is Canada now.
Equalization's a
Get with it.
stealing our hard-earned.
Thanks a lot, everyone. Thanks for the big hearts there. I see them flying up there. Masad, good to see you. Red Mama. Red, Kit Kat, East Coast Stoner, Big D, Daisy, all of our good friends out there. Hey, thanks a lot for checking in, saying hello, and sticking with the program. No. Alberta flag, Masad. Whatever happened to Ayatollah of Alberta? I like that. That's right, you're bad. There's the Rocky Mountains. Freedom. Alberta freedom. Woohoo. Dun, 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 dun. Thanks for watching, all of you trolls out there. Thanks for watching. Too bad you couldn't say anything, but thanks for watching. Appreciate it.
Like Ukraine from the Soviets, we'll fight through the night.
The bunker.
No more sending our wealth to
I have a bunker in the mountain back there.
our pensions rising, fulfilling our dreams. Tolerance, their rules and their games. Albertans awakening.
Whoa! Let's go. Dun, 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 dun. Love Trump in the house. Hey, hey. No, I banned a bunch of trolls, so they're mad now. They're real mad. The cat crowd is madder than hell, madder than a hornet. Sorry. You can't win them all.
Yellow, beef herds grazing free. Oil sands fueling future.
Sorry about that, Charlie.
As far as the eye can see. Where Albertans first.
But don't blame me. Blame Catamus Rex.
Separation's the answer, lifting us higher. No more being
No, Brett, you're not banned. I still consider you to be a friend, regardless of your what side you're on. Come on, Brett. We've been doing this YouTube thing for years already. It's like we almost need a back end deal. Woohoo! Brett.
Fuck all the fucking way off.
Blue Jay. Hey, you're late to the party. Blue Jay, we're just ending right now. But thanks a lot for popping up. No way. Brett, come on. I don't think you've ever been banned from my channel. It's just been wrench here. Take a wrench, give a wrench, take a wrench, give a wrench, you know. But yeah, you know, hey, I like to give everyone a voice. As long as you don't bash me, you know. Yeah, and you have... Brett, you have bashed me over on your channel. You've yelled at me and you've been mad at me, whatever, you know. But overall, you haven't really done anything to where I go, well, you need to be banned from here, you know. But yeah, you have actually doxed me a little bit on your channel. I do remember you doing that, you know, which I don't like that. You know I don't like that. But not totally dox me anyway. But yeah, thanks a lot. We'll see you guys later. Take care. And yeah, have a good day. Where's the end broadcast button? It's around here somewhere. Oh, no.
Fuck all the fucking way off.
Oh.